Perception of choice. Do you really perceive that you have a choice to be 150 pounds if you currently weigh 300 pounds? Oh my gosh, if you've gone through decades of diet failure, if you've tried all the diets, that surely does not feel like a choice. I get it, and you're skeptical about where I am going with this. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story that might entertain you just a little bit. A few months ago, it's like 6:30 in the morning. I'd been sitting in this chair drinking coffee already for a couple of hours, and my husband woke up and walked across the great room, and he saw me sitting in the chair reading and crying. And he says to me, "Oh my God, Amanda." I mean, he's very concerned. There I am crying. I mean, I'm kind of sobbing. And he says, "What are you reading? What are you reading?" And I lift this book up a bit and I say, "It's a chapter, a latent property of the dynamics of choice." He just, oh my gosh, just kept walking across the room, shaking his head, and says, no one on earth does this." A latent property of the dynamics of choice. This is a book, What is Addiction? And he's mainly talking about drug use. But this sentence I will read to you here. If quitting, so this is the case of drug use, but really any kind of addiction, if quitting is a matter of choice, then quitting depends on the availability of better choices. And so quitting really requires that you perceive that you have a choice, that your life will do better if you start to make the decisions that get beyond the sort of momentary pleasure decisions, and your decisions fit more in the framework of achieving your longer term results. So that is necessary. Like, perceiving that you have a choice is necessary if you are to pursue essentially your longer term interests. And this is the stuff of this book, of this chapter, as I was sitting there reading that morning. And increasingly I talk about this. I talk about the perception of choice, because we've always had a choice. It's just maybe now what's happening in Eat Like a Bear is that we all are perceiving our choice set differently, because we are seeing more and more people on the path in front of us. Okay, so you may be jaded, salted as heck, thinking you don't have a choice, and I want to show you a photo of someone a whole lot like you. All right, there we go. This photo is from September 1st of 2017. That's me. That's me. September 1st, 2017, day 2 on the diet. I had no hope that this would work. I was, of course, jaded as heck. What I was doing in this moment was I was proving to myself that I had done everything I could do to lose weight, so that when I walked into bariatric surgery in January, just a few months from now, from the time of this picture, that never would happen, by the way, that when I walked in, I would be able to know here in my heart that I had done everything I could do to lose weight, and that the surgery solution was my final solution. So I was in fact managing my future regrets in this moment. And something amazing happens, by the way, when you tell yourself and you follow through that you will do everything that you can do to lose weight, and you're proving it to no one but yourself. And so this is what it looks like to counter all of those doubts in your mind one by one as doubts come up, to respond to them as parts of your brain start second guessing your decisions, to come up with other arguments against those, and to keep focused, to keep doing it, to keep doing what's working, to keep recognizing and countering those doubts. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. And you don't have to have hope. I mean, I had none here on September 1st of 2017. All I had was the beginning of really kind of a game in my own head, that I was proving to myself that I had done everything I could do, so that I could walk into that surgery and not have a regret. All that doubt that you have right now, that is the accumulation of all of the decades of failure. But it is also the accumulation of decades of experience, decades of diet experience that you can bring to bear on this situation right now. And that is exactly what I did in August and September of 2017, is I brought that lifelong dieting experience to bear on my own circumstance. And so all of that you have done has actually positioned you for this moment. And I have a growing mountain of success cases in the Eat Like a Bear community behind me saying the same thing. You were born for this moment. You have the skills, you have the tools for this moment right here. And I get your concern, because again, with the mountains of failure behind you, you look at this and you say, you know what? It's not that I just choose and, voila, I am just suddenly trim with all this self-doubt. We all have it. And you're thinking, well, come on, if it was as simple as just choosing, then I would have been thin like my whole life. And right, I get that too. Absolutely. If it was just that simple. And it is definitely not my message that this is simple, but that you do have a choice, and you have a choice to power your way, to grind your way right out of that pit. But you do have to do it yourself. And I'm not going to fool you that it's no work. It is a lot of work, and it is something you have to do on your own. But the power of the Eat Like a Bear community is there is a light on the pathway now that we have never had before. And that is the power of this community. And that I direct you to our success cases and our stories so that you too can see that you have a choice. Find the stories, find the resources, lean on them, and climb your way out.